Hey there, adjuncts. This is Dean Accounts, and I wanted to make a video for you to show you how and where you can make comments and feedback for your students, but also show you the student view and how they access that feedback. So let's go first here to an assignment. So you'll see here in this assignment, it's on our Como 225 course, which is a career development course. And I'm going to go to SpeedGrader. And many times you can find SpeedGrader on your far left side of your screen. But because I've made this a little smaller, I bet it's down here at the bottom. Yep, there's SpeedGrader. So I'm going to click on that. So in this paper, the student was struggling a little bit with their writing. So I made lots of comments on the paper. If you're familiar with Canvas, you know that you can go in and you can use these little bubbles, and there's all other kinds of tools where you can write on the paper and make comments of things that they need to improve. This was actually a scaffolded paper where they had to edit the paper and then resubmit it along with additional details later on in the course. You'll notice here also that I have the rubric over here on the far right side. So let me see if I can scroll down here. Yep, there we go. And so you see that I've got information where I put in their grade. And whenever I took off points, I try to say why I'm taking off points, but I also try to point them back to their feedback. So I'll say, look at your paper for the feedback. So then you see at the bottom, I have more comments, and then you see the total. The other thing I did is I also made, because I didn't want the student to be discouraged because I'd made so many comments, I made a audio recording, which at the very bottom of the rubric, you're going to see a box, and underneath the box are some buttons, and one of those is where you can choose to make a little like web screencast or an audio recording. So I made an audio recording for the student. So when I was done grading, I messaged the student and I said, you can see my feedback on your paper. Also, you'll see some feedback in the rubric, and then finally I made an audio recording for you to listen to get your feedback. Now, funny enough, when I talked to the student and I said, hey, did you see my feedback? They said, no, I don't know how to access it. So one of the things that is a little bit confusing is that the feedback and how we see it and how we see the rubric and the paper is very different than how the student sees it. So let's go and see what the student sees. So now let's compare what a professor view is in the gradebook to the student view. Now this is a different course because in the other course, the Como 225 course, I was unable to really go into a student view for a particular student. So I'm showing you a course that I was in so you can see what the student gradebook looks like. When you click on grades, when a student clicks on grades, they see a list of all their different assignments as well as the score that they got out of the total points. Now, if you want to direct the student to your feedback, then you'll need to tell them to click on the assignment and to look at the feedback in the different portions. So let's look at that real quick. So I clicked on my coding practice assignment, and you're going to see that there's a couple of different places that I can access my feedback. First of all, my professor wrote me some feedback over here in the comment box. Also, I can click on the rubric up here. So you'll notice the rubric's a little harder to find for the student compared to our view when we do the grading. So we can scroll down here, the student can scroll down and see any of your feedback. But also, you can see feedback on the document itself. So I'm going to close this rubric. And then if you click on View Feedback, this is where the students will see all the comments that you might make on a paper. So if a student scrolls down, they can see the feedback. They can also make this larger where it actually fills in the whole page. Or they can download the feedback as well. So it's a little hard to see because this box is so small. But my main point that I wanted you to see is that, first of all, our view is very different than the student view. Second of all, you'll need to tell them if you've written feedback on the paper that they need to click on the View Feedback link to see the actual feedback on the paper. This link right here was what the student uploaded. This is your written feedback. Also, if you make a recording like an audio or maybe a screencast recording, they'll see it here at the very top. So you'll tell them to look in the comment box at the very top. But also, you can direct them to the rubric, and you may have to tell them to click on it. So point being, as you're doing your grading, you may think it's really easy for a student to find your feedback. However, because their gradebook looks different than yours, you may have to be more specific to direct them where and how to find your feedback. As always, if you have any questions, let us know.